What is up, everybody? Welcome to this special edition of the Huddle Hub podcast. We have some breaking news coming out of the NFL today, and figured I would go live real quick and talk about it for a few moments. Before I do so, I want to ask everybody to head over to the Huddle Hub podcast social medias right now. If you're on the Twitch channel, go down below in the profile. All the links to all of our social medias are below. For the X, the YouTube, and the TikTok at the Huddle Hub Pod. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button, head over to the Twitch and hit the follow button and all the other social medias, and hit that follow and subscribe button. If you do not mind, please, it would definitely be appreciated as me and John build the channel here going into the 2025 NFL season. So we have some breaking news coming out of the NFL. First off, our thoughts and well wishes and everything go out to the families and everybody who was impacted by the tragic attack on the NFL building headquarters. Hearing this news, it was very sad to hear 4 people are no longer with us, and 1 person is in critical condition but stable. Well wishes and hopefully that person pulls through and everything is good. But our thoughts, well wishes, prayers, everything go out to the families and everybody that has been impacted on the attack on the NFL headquarters building in New York. It's sad. It's sad news to hear. I mean, not to get too deep into it. The suspect apparently traveled from Nevada to New York to act on this heinous, ridiculous act. And, it's just very sad. Very, very sad. I'm sure more news about why this occurred is going to come out. As far as I heard, the note that was found in the suspect's pocket was it all had to do with football. Here's the thing is if that's the case, look, I understand that, you have a passion for your sports. You have a passion for your sports teams. I mean, I'm a Philly fan. If anybody knows the word passion about sports, it's me. And that goes along with any other sports fan out in the world. I mean, you have a passion for your team. You have a love for your team. You will ride with your team till the bitter end of every season, whether they finish 17-0 or 0-17. They get into the playoffs and get eliminated in the wild card round, or they're hoisting the Lombardi Trophy at the end of the year. In other sports, the World Championships, the World Series Trophy, the Stanley Cup, the NBA Finals Championship, all that stuff. I get that. But if that's what this was about, I mean, again, I just don't want to get too deep into it. But it's I understand sports can grab your emotions. For somebody that talks football literally every day, that studies this game every day, I love my team. I love the Philadelphia Eagles. But when I'm on here, when I'm podcasting, I try and keep an open mind that it's not only Eagles fans listening to this show. Same with John. John knows, hey, he's a 49ers fan, but he knows not only 49ers fans are listening to this show. There's fans of the Cowboys, the Commanders, the Giants, the Seahawks, the Cardinals, the Rams, and beyond that are listening to this show, watching this show. And we got to be fair and talk in a positive manner, not only for the Eagles and 49ers, but for the Cowboys, Commanders, Raiders, Chiefs, and so on. So it's understandable that you have a passion for your team. That's great. But you can't let it get the best. If this situation is caused solely for that fact, you can't let it get the best of you. Because now 4 families are broken. And one has somebody in critical condition that seems like they're going to pull through. And everything's going to be, they're going to have a road to recovery. But it's just sad. It's sad. And it's not only this. It's in the world of its own. We hear about these things every day. And that is why I always say at the end of every show, be good to each other. Be kind to each other. Take care of each other. And be patient with each other. Because the world is not moving as fast as you think it is. Slow down. Take a deep breath. For somebody that suffers with mental health every day, depression, anxiety, it's not fun. It's not, it can be very taxing on the mind and the body, mentally and physically. But somebody said to me one day, Mike, you just got to slow down and take a deep breath. And my response was, because the world's not moving as fast as we think, right? Right. It's sad. Again, I get it. You're passionate about your sports teams. You love your sports teams, but if this is what this is about, it's just very sad. And our well wishes, our thoughts, our prayers, positive vibes, everything go out to everybody who was affected and impacted by this. And, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. Something has to change. It does. Tommy, yesterday there was an attack on the NFL headquarters building. Somebody went in there with a weapon, and 4 people have passed. 1 person's in critical but stable condition. And it's very sad. Very, very sad. Because again, like I said, and apparently a note was found in the suspect's pocket that it was about football. This individual traveled from Nevada to New York. That's a travel. Whether it's by plane, whether it's by driving, that is a travel. To act on this heinous act. And now 4 people are no longer in this world because of it. 1 person is fighting for their life. They're stable, and hopefully they pull through. But I get it. We're passionate about our Yes, it's about the in Manhattan. Yes, it is. I get it. We're passionate about our sports teams, but if that's what this is about, take a deep breath. It's great to be passionate about something, but you cannot let it get that deep. Because at the end of the day, if it's about sports, you're not on the field playing. It's great to have that passion, but you're not out there playing. You're not on the field coaching. You are a fan. You are a consumer of the product. You are a prospect. That's all you are. So to let this, if that's the reason why this happened, something needs to change. And that is why I always say what I say at the end of every show. Be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. The world isn't moving as fast as you think. And I get it if that's what this is about. You know, if you get upset about your sports teams and it makes you this upset, always put it in the back of your mind that a new season always comes. A slate is always wiped clean. Your team starts a new season every year. And that's the change. But one last time, our thoughts, our prayers, our condolences, our well wishes, and everything go out to the families and everybody who was impacted by this heinous act. And, you know, I get it. I get that somebody's passionate, but it's just things like this need to stop. When does this end? When does things like this stop? You know, I don't know. But that we're not here for that tonight. We are here for two other things to talk about in breaking news. I just wanted to send the well wishes and everything out to everybody who was impacted by this heinous crime because, you know, I kind of felt like it would be a disservice for us not to send out those well wishes to everybody who was impacted by this because it was in the news. Everybody knows about it. And, you know, yes, sadly enough, it may never stop. And that's the sad part. But we have two things with breaking news coming out of the world of football tonight that I was very, very anxious about coming on here and talking about because the past couple weeks I've been very big on talking about one of these two subjects. Number one, Trey Hendrickson. It has been announced that he will be showing up to Bengals training camp tomorrow. He is going to be getting back with the team tomorrow, showing up at Bengals training camp. This is a huge deal. A huge deal. Now, right now, it still stands that no deal has been made as far as contracts. Okay? There's no talk of whether he's going to suit up, gear up, practice, anything like that. There is no word on that. He's just showing up. Okay? But it's still huge for the Bengals. Why? Because now you have him in the building. You have him in the building. You did something to get him to come to training camp. If you were fining him, and if that's the only reason why, then, you know, I guess good on you because you're fining him $50,000 for missing practice and missing camp. But the important part is getting this guy in your building. You had one of the worst defenses in the league last year. You had to rely on your offense to put up 40-plus points to even win games. Okay? This past week, you got Shamar Stewart, the final first round pick to sign their contract. That was step one. You got him in the building. You got him to sign the dotted line. $18.97 million with a $10 million signing bonus, guaranteed money. Great on you. Now you need to get the leading sack defensive end from last year back in your building, suited up, and start practicing and get his signature on the dotted line. Because if you don't do it, another team is. And another team is going to benefit off of your, you know, for lack of a better term, miss out of keeping this guy in your building. He's still young. Yes, he's in his 30s. He's 31 years old. He's still young. He's in the prime of his career right now. He can still go out there and be the season sack leader again this season. The question is do you want him doing it in a Bengals uniform, or do you want him going to do it in another uniform? Now, has there been trade offers sent over to the Bengals? Yes, there have been 2 teams that have sent over offers. They got declined. So the Bengals declined it because if Trey does not play this year, he sits out. He doesn't go to another team. This is all about extending him to keep him as a Cincinnati Bengal for at least the next 3 years. And I'll say this, the Bengals need him because that defense right now is a mess. And I've been saying it since last year. This team needs to get their defense in line. They need to figure out what they're going to do with their defense because the defense is your problem. You know your problem. Your offense is not your problem. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow. You have an offense. You're good on offense. Now you need to get your defense together. You get your defense together, you can make a strong push for the Lombardi. Okay? Now, I'm going to say this, and by all means, I say this every time because I want it to be clear that I am a very unbiased person when it comes to podcasting. I said it at the top of this broadcast tonight that, yes, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm passionate about my team. But I have to set that aside when I'm on this show and talk positive about other teams, which I have no problem doing because I am an unbiased person when it comes to sports. I'm a realist. Okay? The Eagles are repeating this year. They are the most well put together, most complete put together football team in the league today. Okay? But here's the thing. With that being said, the Eagles have to play an AFC team in the Super Bowl. There has to be a team to try and stop them from repeating. And my top 3 teams for this year to possibly do so are the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Chiefs. Okay? Those are the 3 teams. My sleeper AFC team this year is the Jets. I've settled on that the past couple days. Me and John did the show the other day. I said I'm kind of close to the Jets being my sleeper team this year. It's confirmed. They are my sleeper AFC team this year. The Jets are. Okay? But I've had many people admit and agree with me that hate the Eagles say that the Eagles are repeating this year because they are the most put together football team. And I get it. Again, you're passionate about your team. You love your team. You feel like your team is going to do it all the time. I was watching TikTok lives today that dealt with football, and Cowboys fans are on there saying we're going 14-3 and we're winning the Super Bowl this year. Where the hell do you get that? Because your owner just went on broadcast and said, we don't make guys wait for contracts, but yet you're not paying Micah Parsons. You went out and extended Ferguson the other day, your tight end, but your edge rusher who is on a contract year, who wants to stay with you, who's very passionate about staying a Cowboy because he loves the Cowboys, you don't want to pay him? There are a lot of teams that are very close to being put together football teams like the Eagles are right now. A lot of teams out there. And me and John, here's what I'm going to do, is me and John will not be live this Sunday, okay? We won't be back live until August 10th. So not this Sunday, next Sunday. In the next week and a half, I'm going to put together my top 10 teams who are close to being put together completely right now, okay? Eagles are number 1. I'm going to tell you that right now. The Eagles are number 1. Who is 2 through 10? I will give you my thoughts on that on August 10th. But right now, the Bengals need to take advantage of the fact that you have Trey Hendrickson coming back into your building tomorrow. Give this man what he is asking for. Get him in a uniform. Get him on that field, because every snap in practice counts for him to be there to get you guys ready for the 2025 season. If you are a Bengals fan, jump for joy tonight that he's in that building tomorrow. But when you wake up tomorrow morning, you better be hoping you wake up to breaking news that Trey Hendrickson signed a 3-year, $99 million contract. I'm just throwing a number out there. He needs to be the highest paid non-quarterback in this league on defense. Okay? Bottom line. Make this man happy, get him in your uniform, and get him on that field with your defense, because every snap in practice helps. When I seen the news he was going to camp tomorrow, I immediately said, Mike, you need to do something as far as putting some content out there to talk about this, because if not, I was going to let this loom over my head for the next week and a half until me and John go live again on the 10th. Okay? I couldn't let that happen. I would have drove myself nuts. If I didn't go live tonight, I would have went live tomorrow morning. Now, you better guarantee if we do catch a Trey Hendrickson signing an extension tomorrow, I'll probably be live again talking about it. But as of right now, the good news is he's going to be in camp tomorrow for the Bengals, and now your next step is making this man happy, giving him his contract that he wants, giving him everything that he wants, and locking him up for the next at least 3 seasons. Best bet. And bottom line, you go back and watch any video I talked about back during and after the draft. This was my number one focus, was that Bengals defense when it came to talking about this team. Because I knew they were going to take care of everybody on the offense. I knew they were going to take care of T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, everybody. I knew it. Because it would have been dumb to let any of those guys walk. Even somebody like a T. Higgins. Would have been dumb. Be smart. You got Shamar in there. Get Trey Hendrickson locked up. Bottom line. Let's take 15 seconds, guys. Head over to all the social medias right now for the Huddle Hub podcast over on X, TikTok. If you're not on Twitch, head over to the Twitch. If you're not on YouTube, head over to YouTube. Hit that follow button. Help us build the channel here for the Huddle Hub podcast heading into the 2025 NFL season and beyond, as me and John are trying to build this channel up one follower at a time. We appreciate everybody who comes and checks out the show, follows us, and checks out everything that happens here on the Huddle Up podcast. We have some fun content coming for you guys, recorded content. We both just got the college football 26 football game, so we're going to be doing some recorded content for you guys on the YouTube channel for you guys to check out as far as a dynasty, and we're going to be doing our individual road to glories and going to be posting our journeys. So go check that out right now over on the YouTube channel at the Huddle Hub Pod. It would definitely be appreciated and help us build this channel heading into the 2025 NFL season. So back to the breaking news. More news has come out. Actually, this really isn't too much of breaking news. The Trey Hendrickson stuff was, but now more news has come out about a former head coach. So John Gruden, we know, has in the past, there's been some stuff with John Gruden we're not going to get into, okay? But there was an interview that was done with John Gruden not too long ago. I believe it was earlier today, actually, about him being able to go back to coaching. He is now eligible to get back into coaching in the NFL, okay? And he had mentioned in this interview that, you know, he loves his gig over at Barstool right now. He loves what he's doing there. He's doing great work over on Barstool. I'll say this right now. I watch his videos almost every day, and his unboxing videos are one of the most entertaining things on the internet right now. To me, anyways. I'll say that. John Gruden he's a funny man when he does those unboxings. And his quarterback club shows with rookie quarterbacks, even veteran quarterbacks, are awesome videos. Puts out some really good content. I'm highly entertained by it. I like it. And but he did mention that coaching is his number one love. Okay. Now the question lies, does John Gruden get back into the NFL? With him having the success and fun that he's having at Barstool and everything he's doing and all the great stuff he's doing over at Barstool right now, does he get back into coaching? And who would he coach? We know he probably wouldn't go to Vegas. Okay? He probably wouldn't end up back with the Raiders. He's had 2 stints there. One was successful, one wasn't. I think the Raiders would be written off for him. But that's the huge question, is what team does he go to? What team could he coach? And then you got to look at the landscape of the NFL right now, and there is a shift happening in the NFL. As we know, the past few years, even head coaches who signed 3-4 year contracts, if they do bad in year 1, they get booted. We just recently seen it in Vegas. We just recently seen it in New England. 2 head coaches who were being pulled in for these franchises to come in and make them a success after year 1, had a bad year, got booted. That was it. Now 2 new head coaches. Mike Vrabel is now the head coach out in New England, and you got Pete Carroll out in Las Vegas. Okay. But there's some teams out there that are committing to their head coaches more. The Giants, Brian Daboll, okay, had a bad year last year. A lot of people thought he was on the hot seat. A lot of people thought Joe Shane, the GM, was on the hot seat, especially after letting Saquon Barkley walk and go to Philly. But the owner of the Giants said, no, we had a bad year. Joe Shane's doing a great job. Brian Daboll's doing an exceptional job in their eyes. So we are committed to Coach Daboll and the GM, Joe Shane. Okay? So that they're committed to him. But not only that, we are seeing other franchises committing to their head coaches, their coaching staff, their front office. So there's a shift going on in the NFL, I think, to where teams will start committing to their coaching staff and their front office again. We've seen teams, franchises have bad years back in the early, 2000s and in the 90s, and they would commit to, look at the Eagles, a couple bad years under Andy Reid. He stuck around for how many years? Dallas, a couple bad years under some head coaches that stuck around longer than they probably should have been around. Cincinnati, they had a rough go with Lewis as their coach. Took them a long time to part ways with him. And then the shift came where if a coach had one bad year, even in year 1, if the front office didn't like it, they booted him. But now we're starting to see that shift in head coaches being committed to more even after a bad year. So the big question would be is if Gruden would decide to go back to coaching, who would he go to? You got to look at that. And if you run it down, Philadelphia, they're happy with Sirianni. The Giants are happy with Daboll. The Commanders are good. The Cowboys, they just got a new head coach. Schottenheimer, it's his first year. San Francisco's good. The Seahawks just got a new head coach. The Rams, Mike McVay is good. McVay's good to go out in Los Angeles. The Cardinals, they just committed to a new head coach last year. The Bears, the Packers, the Vikings love their head coach. The Lions, they're set for years. I mean, their head coach comes in, turns things around for that franchise. They won 2 division championships in a row. one game away from gaining home field advantage 2 years ago, got it last year. You look over in the AFC, Chiefs are having success. Raiders just got a new head coach in Pete Carroll. The Chargers just got a new head coach last year. Broncos, they're set with Sean Payton. The Steelers, Mike Tomlin's probably never going to leave there. Ravens are good with Harbaugh. Bengals are good. Browns, they seem to be committed to their head coach. So that's what I mean is teams are committing to their head coaches. So it's all about what team could he realistically go to if he would decide to go back to coaching. What team would make that decision to pull the trigger and say, I will fire my head coach to have you come into the building and take over? It ain't going to be a team that makes the playoffs every year or every other year. I'll tell you that. It would have to be a team like the Titans, the Browns, the Giants, teams that are a below 500 team every year and in the top 10 as far as draft picking. Teams that can't get things right when it comes to important positions like the quarterback and the wide receiver and edge rushers. It would have to be a team like that. And with how franchises are committing to their coaches right now, I don't see any of it happening. So as of right now, John Gruden, if he wanted to go back to coaching, could I see him maybe on the collegiate level? Yeah, I could. I could see him more on the collegiate level than in the NFL today. And maybe the next 5 years. Because the NFL has that shift of committing to their head coaches and their coaching staff. If anything, could he become a coordinator? Because we see coordinators change. I mean, Philadelphia, for example, they lost their offensive coordinator this year to the Saints. But had to bring in a new offensive coordinator. Could he be a coordinator? Probably. Could I see him being an offensive coordinator because of the work that he does with quarterbacks? Yes. Yeah, I could. But I think right now, with the fun that he's having and the success he's having over on Barstool, I don't see him coming back into the league anytime soon. But that's all I got for you guys. Trey Hendrickson's heading back to camp. We will have to see what happens tomorrow morning on Wednesday and see if anything furthers along when it comes to this contract situation, see if they lock him up and get him on that field. Because right now, as far as it's concerned, he's just showing up to the building. That's it. There's no talk of him getting on the practice field. There's no talk of him closing his deal with a contract or anything like that. So maybe tomorrow morning, Bengals fans, you'll be waking up and seeing that he signed a contract. And I will say this right now, if that happens, I will be here live talking about it as it happens. One last time, everybody head over to the Huddle Hub Podcast. Social medias over on X, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. At the Huddle Hub Pod over on X, TikTok, and YouTube. The Huddle Hub Podcast over on Twitch. Hit that follow button where you can follow. And on YouTube, to follow, you got to hit that subscribe button. You do not have to pay anything. That's the way to follow over on the YouTube. We are live every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking everything in football, all the news. Me and John have been doing our Spotlight segment the past couple weeks. We will not be live this Sunday because I'm taking a little day trip vacation to the beach. So, because I need a beach day. Been a while since Mike's been to the beach, and I want to go to the beach. So we're taking the day off. We will be back on August 10th with the final Spotlight segment for the NFC South. And then John will be off on August 17th, but yet I will be here giving you guys all the news coming out of that week. And then we will be back together on August 24th to do the Spotlight on all 4 AFC divisions. And then on August 31st, we will be doing our prediction show. So that is our month of August schedule heading into the 2025 NFL season. With that being said, I appreciate everybody who stopped by tonight. Make sure you're heading over to all our social medias and following. If you want to follow me on social media, Metal Mike 714 everywhere: Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitch, Metal Mike 714. That's where you can find me. Appreciate everybody who stopped by for this little 35-minute show, little breaking news show. As I always say, be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. Trey Hendrickson signs tomorrow. I'll be live again. We'll be talking about it. If not, we'll see you guys on August 10th. Have a good night, everybody.